This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details. The opinions expressed in the following programs are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers Cable or Rogers TV.
Hello, and thank you for joining us for Age-Friendly Caledon Conversations, a segment series where we'll be talking about the services and supports connected with Age-Friendly Caledon. I'm your host, Rick Sargent, and our segment today will be talking with Yasmeen Rafiq, a registered social worker with the Senior Services Development Division of the Region of Peel. We'll be talking about the services and supports available to residents of Caledon. Yasmeen, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me today.
We were chatting a little bit before we started the program, and it sounds like you have a wealth of information that you want to get out. So I'm not going to do a lot of talking. I'll ask you the general question to start off this. Tell me more about the Region of Peel and the services that are offered through the Senior Services Division.
Ooh, that's a big question, Rick, but I'll do my best to answer it. So we have a lot of different services that we offer for seniors within the Senior Services Development. If I am to focus a little bit more on the Caledon Bolton area, and then I will start to focus out a bit. But we do have the long-term care, which is the Davis Center. Long-term care offers long-term care beds, which is an application process that an individual would do through Ontario, I just forgot their name again, Ontario Health at Home. Okay. And so they would go through their care coordinator for that. And we also have, though, is the Adult Day Program, which is a wonderful program or service that is offered out to the community. And it's meant for individuals to be able to come to a place where they can get various activities. They get some exercise, so some physical activity. They also get some socializing there, as well as they will have some activities. They'll get to go outdoors to trips. They'll get to do some specific programs that they might enjoy within the center. And so this is a program that has staff that is that's educated, and they are trained to work with seniors. We also have a number of clients that attend that have dementia, and it is also another really wonderful way for our caregivers to get a bit of respite and to be able to run their errands. The program runs during the day. They can get dropped off by the caregiver, or if they wanted, they can actually get some transportation services as well. And so it's a really wonderful program that is offered out in the Caledon Bolton area.
Now, you mentioned the Davis Center.
Yeah.
For those who may not be familiar, the Davis Center is located in Bolton.
It is. It is on 80 Allen Road there, and it is right in Bolton. It's an older home, but it is quite a really comfortable home, and it has been around the community for a while. Yeah.
And that's the interesting thing. A lot of the services that the Region of Peel offers that you're talking about are services that many people may not be aware of or are familiar with because they haven't reached that stage of their life where they need those services yet. And it's not until we get to that point that we suddenly realize, we need to start searching and asking questions and getting referrals. So that's why this information is so valuable, so that people at least are aware of what's available to them, so that, if and when they reach that stage in their life, or a family member, for example, reaches that stage of their life, they know where to go and where to get the answers.
It's so true. I think that's very true. And oftentimes I think individuals will start looking for services when they might be in a bit of a crisis, or maybe in a position where they really need the service like right away, or maybe even yesterday. And so it's really nice if individuals can get that knowledge from ahead of time and do a little bit of planning, maybe prepare for something down the line. And I have to say, and when it comes to the adult day program, the beautiful thing is once you are connected to all the different staff there and you get connected to, and you know, this is where I toot my horn just a little bit. I'm the social worker and I'm so lucky I've been aligned with the Davis Center as well. And you know, you get that additional support. You also get aligned with a registered nurse who we all make sure that we are keeping eyes on our clients. We're ensuring that our caregivers are, when they need support, maybe they're having trouble getting them to and from the center, maybe they're having trouble with meals. We do what we can to connect them with those resources, and community referrals are done for them with their permission, of course, but also we provide education. So it's a really nice thing to have, and it's a really we try to make it as much of like a one-stop shop as we can, so they don't have to be looking on their own in all these different directions.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned that it's all these services are based on a referral system.
Right.
Most of the referrals would come from a family doctor. Is that right?
So So for the initial referral for the adult day program, that actually is done through Ontario Health at Home, and so that and they would do the initial application to the adult day program, and then that's how that referral comes over to us. Now, once they're within the program, and say I meet with a client or a caregiver and I realize that they could really benefit from Meals on Wheels, or maybe they could benefit from the Alzheimer's, some additional information on Alzheimer's, dementia, etc., I could make that referral directly for them if they give me, as long as I get their consent, yeah. So it does, and then I'll be honest, sometimes the family doctors are the ones that will initiate that very first referral to Ontario Health at Home, yeah. So they would, they can also initiate that. For that referral, I do want to say though, a caregiver can pick up the phone and call Ontario Health at Home themselves and start that referral process too.
Oh, okay. So it can be initiated by the patient themselves.
It can be initiated, which is wonderful, and then they will have an intake call and they'll go through a screening with the intake worker, and then they will get assigned, or they will be navigated to the appropriate services and the appropriate coordinator at that point, yeah.
Now, you mentioned Meals on Wheels.
Yeah.
Meals on Wheels, I guess, is not directly part of the health network,
right.
But I'm assuming that you work with a lot of organizations that are sort of just an arm's length away.
Absolutely. It's actually funny the way you say that, because at one of our sites, which is the Peel Manor site, it's in Brampton, Meals on Wheels is actually housed within the facility. So it's really amazing. And so absolutely, we work really hard to collaborate with the various community resources. And I've reached out to the Meals on Wheels in Caledon, and it can be very useful for the clients to have. And they've been really great, where they will reach out to the caregiver if I've got the consent. So it's a really good relationship to have, yeah.
Now, does it work that way as well, where somebody, let's say, calls Meals on Wheels and they start using their service?
Yeah.
But one of the volunteers, for example, with Meals on Wheels, who's delivering meals to a customer, recognizes that this person may need more support than just food.
Yeah.
Do they in turn then refer that person back to you?
So they definitely can, and I've had it. I don't have it happen a whole lot, but I have had a couple of calls where they can just reach out and say, I'm just a bit concerned, or they may reach out to the larger age-friendly Caledon group and just ask for what direction can we go for this individual. So yeah, it goes both ways, which is great, because I believe what we're really wanting for is individuals to be able to age at home safely, and as well to try to mitigate the risk, as much risk as we can at the same time.
Right. Yeah. I would like to bet that a lot of people who live in the region of Peel and Caledon specifically, don't necessarily understand the levels of government that we have here. Yeah. We obviously we have the federal government, provincial government, but here locally we have the region of Peel, which is the regional government, and then we have our local town of Caledon government as well. And understanding what the roles are between the governments and the various services can be confusing, I think, to a lot of people.
Yeah. I find it confusing myself sometimes, Rick. Like it can be very overwhelming. And I think like so, for us, it can be just a little difficult to navigate, and we're within the system to some extent. But imagine trying to also navigate, or also trying to care for somebody who requires so much of your time and energy, physical and emotional. It can be a lot. And I do think it can be confusing. And I'm hoping, like, someone like myself or some of like the other staff from the Region Appeal, we can help to reduce some of that stress or just confusion and try to streamline it a bit for them, or just ease it a bit for them so that it's not as confusing.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing, obviously, when you're in a situation where it's not a crisis for you and you have the luxury of time to do the research. But as we've mentioned, I mean, sometimes it gets to a situation where people don't have that time luxury, right? And they're stressed. They have a family member that needs the services, and they're scrambling. They're trying to figure out where to go, what they need, what paperwork they need, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's so true, and they're just desperately reaching out for anyone that will just give them a bit of guidance and just some direction. And so that's where I think we try our best to, like, if, for example, if somebody is connected to one of our adult day programs, we really do try our best to ensure that the client is able to reach out to us if they need anything at home, or maybe it's something for themselves. Like, we really do try, as well as for the caregivers. And I think that's where we're a bit unique in terms of our adult day programs, is that we also do a lot of work with the caregiver, and we really do try to support them. I think earlier we were just saying how the caregivers are really like the backbone, where without their support, I don't think our healthcare system could really function.
Approximately how many caregivers do you work with? Do you have a number? Do you have an idea?
I used to have a really big. When I used to have all of them, there's about anywhere from like about 2,000, but now I'm down to the 2 sites. So I think we're down to about maybe closer to, between the 2 sites. I am working with a few hundred caregivers. Maybe closer to about 300 to 500 in that realm. And then we try, about that much, I would say,
And do they work specifically at the locations like the Davis Center, or do they also do home visits as well?
The staff? So the staff actually works specifically at the day program. So it would actually be the client coming to our programs and attending the program and being there for the day, or it could be a half day, whatever works for them. And so they would actually come to our program,
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, was there something else you wanted?
I wanted to say but if they needed services at home, there are services available at home. It's not necessarily through the Region Appeal, but that's something we could connect them with and get that going if needed. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, listen, we're going to take a short break. Terrific information. We still have lots of time to go and a lot more to talk about. So we're going to take a short break here on Age-Friendly Caledon and be back on the other side with more information and more conversation with Yasmeen Rafiq.
Passionate content creator ready to expand your audience reach? Do you have unique stories, captivating hobbies, or special interests that deserve a spotlight? Rogers TV is here to amplify your voice within the community. We offer you the platform to broadcast your content to a wider audience. And the best part, it's completely free. Don't miss this opportunity to share your vision and engage with viewers. Find out how Rogers TV can transform your content journey today.
Welcome back to Age-Friendly Caledon Conversations. I'm your host, Rick Sargent, and we're speaking today with Yasmeen Rafiq, a registered social worker with the Senior Services Development Division of the Region of Peel. Yasmeen, welcome back.
Thank you so much.
So, lots more to talk about. So, I'll just start out by asking you, what is offered? You mentioned the caregivers in the first part of the program. So, what is offered to caregivers as far as resources go?
This is a very exciting topic for me, Rick. This is where I feel like I'm very, very lucky in my role, where I've been able to and given the okay to really provide various services. So part of what we are able to offer our caregivers, in particular in my role, is we do caregiver support groups for caregivers that have their loved ones attending the Adult Day program. We have 2 groups a month, and we are continuing to grow, so it's such an incredible feeling. And then we also have something called the Building Caregiver Capacity Collaborative. This is actually a virtual group that we have, and I won't say it's like exactly a group. It's more of a meeting space which is open to any and all Region of Peel caregivers, service providers, or funders, and it's a really wonderful space where people can come to share services and to share maybe some service gaps that they're noticing. And it's a space where it's a platform where we can come together to hear what is working, what's not working, and then to possibly even come up with an action plan. It's something we do every 6 to 8 weeks. If it's okay for me to do a plug, we have our next one coming up on Thursday, September, it's the 26th, and it's from 10:30 to 12 p.m. and it's online, so people can join us on there. And then we also have this wonderful caregiver retreat that I have the pleasure of planning with my social work team, and we do that once a year. And this year we did it so differently, and what we did was we actually did it as a retreat where we took or we invited our caregivers to a conservation area in the Region of Peel. It was Clareville Conservation Area, and they spent the day with us and they got to do various activities. And let me tell you, these caregivers were so incredible. This is a large group of caregivers, and they surprised me. We provided them option for an indoor and outdoor activity. They all went outside. I was so pleased and amazed, and they just had like a moment where they could just kind of feel back to themselves or just have that mental load off of them for a minute. And so we have the opportunity to do that. And then we also have, I also have the pleasure to be able to provide counseling if needed, and we have other social workers aligned with the other centers that can also do that. So caregivers can have counseling services with us. This is free as long as their loved one attends one of our programs, and we will provide them with system navigation if they need. Maybe they need a bit of education, and we are happy to kind of come along their journey and come alongside them. And then lastly, we have registered nurses that are also aligned with the day programs, and they do some incredible work with providing monthly education. Currently, it's mainly online, it's virtual, but they have offered some locations where they can come in person as well. And so they do so many different topics. It could be about blood pressure, it could be about falls prevention, long-term care, respite, all these different topics that they cover. Yeah.
Just on a personal note, in the last 4 years, I was the primary caregiver for both my mother and my father at home. And I certainly can attest to the fact that caregiver burnout is a major issue.
It is.
Knowing where to go for help and support and just a break, more than anything else. Absolutely. Because unfortunately, sometimes you just don't get the opportunity to
it's 24/7.
Take a vacation, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's definitely 24/7. That's for sure. It's a full-time job and then some.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And I think you're right, Rick. Burnout is so very real, and like I said earlier, we really depend on the caregivers. They really are the backbone for us. And thank you so much for sharing that, because it's very real. And a lot of my caregivers express that same sentiment. And a lot of them are often looking for or wanting options about respite. And that's something that they really need out there. And it's something I believe we don't have enough of right now. But I do have some good news for some that may not know this, but Region of Peel is currently in the process of redeveloping Peel Manor, which is one of our long-term care and adult day programs. It's in Brampton, and they are creating a completely new first floor there, where it's going to be more of a community hub. But a part of what's going to be offered and being developed there is going to be an 8-bed respite. And this new initiative is called the Senior Health and Wellness Village at Peel Manor. And honestly, having those additional respite beds coming into fruition, hopefully in 2025, will be, I think, for our Region of Peel caregivers and clients, it'll be a very big deal. Yeah.
Now, even though this is located in Brampton, it will be accessible and available to anybody in Peel?
I believe the goal is, I think they will have to trial it with the individuals closer to Peel, attached to Peel Manor, but the goal is to be able to offer it out to Region of Peel residents and to offer that service. It's something I hear when it comes to respite. That is something I've heard repeatedly from my personal conversations with caregivers, but also at the various meetings I attend, building caregiver capacity, collaborative. We hear it repeatedly how much respite is needed. Yeah.
One of our other guests in one of our other programs, not related to the work that you do, but related to aging and wellness, was talking about, and I don't want to dwell on the negative, but I think it's important that people understand what the realities are in terms of a wait list, right? So in terms of now the locations that you work at, and you've mentioned, what sort of a wait list are we looking at for those?
Yeah. So there's 2 different buckets that I'm going to try to cover. So there's the long-term care wait list. So that is when an individual is looking to reside somewhere for long-term. And then there's the adult day program. With the long-term care right now, currently the Region of Peel homes, they do have a significant wait list. And it varies, and it really depends on which type of accommodation they are going to select. So there's basic rooms as well as there's private. And so it would really depend on which accommodation they're selecting. But I will often tell caregivers to start to prepare earlier than later, and it can be years for a wait. If you needed a specific example, I believe one of our homes, so for example, Bolton, for a basic room, I think we are looking at probably a few years. And I should also specify that it also varies when it's a male or a female. And the list can be a little bit different there,
Right. And another criteria as well, I understand, is the severity of the ailment, right? So there is, I believe, what's called a crisis list, where the patient is really in desperate need of accommodation. Gets moved to that list, and that speeds things up a little bit. But not.
You're absolutely right, and so that one that is actually managed by Ontario Health at Home, and so they would do a crisis, like the care coordinator would come, provide an assessment, and they would have a score for crisis level. And yes, you're right, there is a crisis list, and that those have been building significantly since our pandemic that we just went through. So it's been building, and there's been such a backlog that we've had. And so that is for like the for the long-term care side of things. Now, for the adult day program side of things, we do have wait lists as well, but they're not as significant. It could be 6 months, it could be less. It could go up to a year sometimes, but we have some wonderful coordinators that are working with each of our sites, and they really do a great job at managing that wait list. And we do try our best to be able to accommodate as many people as we can. So that wait list is not as long, but I will be fair that it could still seem long for somebody that maybe needs the service right away. Yeah.
Well, there's no question that the services that you look after and that you're involved in are greatly needed, because as a society, we are aging. That's unfortunately not an opinion, that's a fact.
It is.
And your services will only be needed more and more in the future. So it sounds like you're doing your best to try to look ahead to the future and plan and put things in place to deal with that increase in demand, I guess.
Yes, absolutely. And honestly, I'm so excited because I think there's just so much more where we can grow and hopefully even serve our caregivers in a different way, in a better way maybe. And so it's exciting to see what we might come up with, and our clients as well. Like there's need in both areas. Yeah.
Now, how many counterparts do you have that you work with?
So there's a big team of us, but I'm gonna go from focusing in a bit. I have a little team of social workers. So I have 2 other social workers that work alongside me. We just got another social worker to join us, and she is covering Sheridan Villa and Moulton Village, and that's Emily. And then I also have Elizabeth Catalano Bond, who is aligned with the Peel Manor, the Seniors Health and Wellness Village at Peel Manor. And so that's my little team. But we have 5 adult. We have a 5 adult day program. So we have a supervisor at each day program who is also part of the team, and then we have a manager who manages all of us. Yeah.
Very good. Is there a high demand for the work that you do?
I will say when I first started, I was covering, or I was supporting all 5 centers, and I am now covering 2, and I think that's very much so is because of the story of how much need there was, and it was just becoming such a large caseload, such a large workload. It couldn't be done by one. So I think absolutely it's been growing, and it really shows how much people need that support. They really need that guidance. They need that individual to come alongside them to help them navigate the system.
Right. Well, Yasmeen, it certainly sounds like you are passionate about the work that you do, and it's great to see that we have the services at the Region of Peel that we have, and we can only hope that in the future we, as you say, see expanded facilities, expanded programs, and more social workers like yourself.
Thank you so much.
Yasmeen Rafiq, thank you very much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
So please tune in to additional age-friendly Caledon Conversation segments airing on Rogers TV and available on YouTube. For more information on these and other programs designed to help Caledon residents age well and in place, please reach out to Age Friendly Caledon by phoning 311, emailing adult55@caledon.ca, or visiting our website online at www.caledon.ca/adult55, where you can sign up for our monthly e-newsletter and keep yourself connected with news, events, programs, and more.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
With Rogers TV, you can cheer on the home team from the comfort of your living room. We'll head to the rink, the field, the court, or the pitch, so you don't have to. Tune in and cheer on your local amateur athletes on Rogers TV.
Canada is at a crossroads, facing an affordability crisis, strains on healthcare, and climate change. Get to know the candidates running to be your MP and represent your interests in Ottawa.